Good morning, class. Once again, we are back with our geography chapter number 3, minerals and power resources. Now, in this previous class, we have already learned about the minerals, the types of minerals, and their distribution all over the world. We have already seen that which continent has which type of minerals, and even the conservation of minerals is done. So, today we are going to begin with the power resources. So, that means half of the chapter is already done with minerals, as our name suggests of the chapter is minerals and power resources. So we have finished with the minerals topic. So let's begin with the power resources. Now there is a small story that begins with the Sunny's mother begins her day by switching on the geyser. She irons Sunny's school uniform by working him up and then rushes to the kitchen to prepare a glass of orange juice for him in the blender. Sunny, have you finished taking bath? Come and have your breakfast. All this is the routine of about Sunny and his mother. So all the things that she is using, right from iron, blender, for making the juice, for switching off the lights and the fans, all these things, what is actually doing? It is making our lives very comfortable and easy, and more we are getting dependent on all of this gadgets and electricity and technology. So that is what is the science and technology is actually making our lifestyles very comfortable and is changing at a very faster rate. So power or energy plays a very vital role in our lives. We also need power for industry, agriculture, transport, communication and defense. So for all this technology, what we actually require is power or energy. So all this power and energy is actually being used in industry, agriculture, transport, communication as well as for defense. So power resources may be broadly categorized as conventional and non-conventional resources. Now power is already being divided into two sectors, that is conventional and non-conventional. Conventional and non-conventional I have already explained you in the first chapter. I hope you remember. What is conventional? Conventional power are those powers which can be used again and again. Okay. Or non-conventional power resources are those power resources which cannot get over. They are never exhausting. Now let's see what are conventional sources of energy. Conventional sources of energy are those which have been in common use for a long time. So firewood and fossil fuels are two main conventional sources of energy. Please underline that. Two examples of conventional sources, that is firewood and fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are those which we get under the ground because of the buried animals and plants. Out of fossils we get the fuels. Next one we have is firewood. It is widely used for cooking and heating. So if you go in a nearby village or in your villages, you will see that twigs and the branches of trees are being used for firewood. The lakda, what we say, lakde mein khana banta hai. Okay, so that is how villages use. More than 50% of the energy used by villagers comes from the firewood. The remains of plants and animals which were buried under the earth for millions of years got converted by the heat and pressure into fossil fuels. So fossil fuels such as coal, petroleum and natural gas are the main sources of energy or power we have. Okay, main sources of conventional energy. Therefore the reserves of these minerals are very limited. So this conventional source of energy are very limited. Once they get over, they will not be getting back. So they soon will be exhausted. So conventional powers means once they getting over is over. So the rate at which the growing world population is consuming them is far greater than the rate of their formation. So the amount we are consuming them are very high. So they are likely to be exhausted soon. So we see to it that once it will get exhausted. You can just go through this flow chart. You can see we have oil and natural gas, advantage, disadvantage and advantages of natural gas. Advantages: easier to transport, basis of petrochemical industry. Disadvantages: depletion of oxygen due to oil spillage and gas leakage. Pollutants released caused acid rain. Exploration of new fuel is not easy. Natural gas is easier to transport. These are the advantages. Cleaner than oil and coal, and it is also cheaper than oil. So these are the advantages. Now conventional sources of energy, we have firewood and coal. So you can see firewood advantage and disadvantage. Firewood is easily accessible, provides energy to a large number of people. Disadvantage is collection is time consuming, pollution, promotion of greenhouse effect and deforestation. These are the disadvantages. For coal, it is extensively available, efficient conversion into electricity advantage. Disadvantage is again polluting source, bulky to transport. Another conventional source of energy we have is hydel powers, that is non-polluting, promotes irrigation and fishing. It is also very cheap. Disadvantage is displacement of local community, inured to low-lying region, expensive to very much set up. I want you to draw this entire chart in your notebook. 8.3 conventional sources of energy. Draw that in your notebook without fail, very neatly and tidily. Okay. The next one we have is conventional source of energy, that is coal. So this is the most abundantly found fossil fuel we have. So coal is a fossil fuel. Just remember, coal is not a metal. It is not a gas. It is not something that or a natural gas or something like that. It's a fossil fuel. It is used as a domestic fuel in industries such as iron and steel, steam engines, and to generate electricity. Please underline this. Electricity from coal is called thermal power. Underline this sentence also. So the electricity that generates from coal is known as thermal power. The coal which we are using today are formed millions of years ago. We know that coal is found right under the earth. So that is how it is formed. It is formed millions of years ago because of when giant ferns and swamps got buried under the layers of the earth. Coal is therefore referred to as buried sunshine. Please underline this. In give reasons you will also get as why coal is known as buried sunshine. You need to write this answer. The leading coal producers of the world are, please underline all of these names, that is China, USA, Germany, Russia, South Africa and France. The coal producing areas in India are Raniganj, Jharia, Dhanbad and Bokaro in Jharkhand. So these are the world producers and these are the regions of India where coal is being found in India also. The next we have is conventional sources, petroleum. Now petroleum, the petrol that keeps your car running as well as the oil that keeps your cycle from squeaking, both begin as a thick black liquid called petroleum. It is found between the layers of rocks and is drilled from oil fields located in offshores and coastal regions. Even petroleum we get from the underground only and it is drilled out. It is not mined, it is drilled out from oil fields which is near the seashore or in the coastal region. This is then sent to refineries which process the crude oil and produce a variety of products like diesel, petrol, kerosene, wax, plastics and lubricants. Please underline that all of these things are being produced from the petroleum. These all are petroleum products. Even your lubricants, even if you know that your Vaseline jelly, Vaseline that we put in on your lips, this is also a petroleum jelly. Go home and check your Vaseline. Okay, Vaseline bottle box, you can see that is written as Vaseline petroleum jelly. So that is also a petroleum product. Yes, petroleum and its derivatives are called as black gold. Okay, so petroleum and its derivatives are known as black gold, and as they are very valuable. Why they are known as black gold? Because they are very costly. It is very valuable. That is why it is known as black gold. The chief petroleum producing countries are Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia and Qatar. So all these countries are famous for their petrol. That is why they are so rich. Hence that is known as black gold. The other major producers are USA, Russia, Venezuela and Algeria. The leading producers in India are Digboi in Assam, Bombay High in Mumbai and the deltas of Krishna and Godavari rivers. Even in India we have these places where you can find petrol. Please underline all these names. It is very important. Now let's see the word origin. The word origin petroleum is derived from Latin words petra meaning rock, oleum meaning oil. So petroleum means rock, oil. This is also very important. Always remember whatever we do it in the glossary or do you know or something like that in your exam, questions may come from this part also. So please do not neglect them. They are very important. Okay. Now moving to the next conventional source of energy that is we have is natural gas. Natural gas is found with petroleum deposits and is released when crude oil is brought to the surface. So natural gas is found along with petroleum deposits, okay, and is released when crude oil is actually brought to the surface. It can be used as a domestic and industrial fuel. Please underline all of them. These are very important paragraph. Russia, Norway, UK and Netherlands are the major producers of natural gas. Underline these names: Russia, Norway, UK and Netherlands. In India, we have got natural gas in Jaisalmer, Krishna, Godavari Delta, Tripura and some areas of offshore in Mumbai are also having natural gas resources. Very few countries in the world have sufficient natural gas reserves of their own. That is why the sharp increase in our consumption of fossil fuels has led to the depletion at an alarming rate. The toxic pollutants released from burning these fuels are also the cause of concern. So once we actually burn these fuels for our own utilization, it gives rise to a lot of pollution. So that is why unchecked burning of fossil fuel is like an unchecked dripping tap, which will eventually run dry. So that means it's like if we keep the tap open and let the water flow, one fine day the tank will have no water, it will get dry. It's the same thing. If we keep on using it more and more and more and without any checking, so it will also get over. So this has led to the tapping of various non-conventional sources of energy that are cleaner alternatives to fossil fuels. So that means we have moved to an alternative of having some non-conventional source of energy to be used, which are very clean. That means which will not produce more pollution other than fossil fuels. Now moving to the next conventional source of energy that we have is hydropower. Let's see. Do you know Norway was the first country in the world to develop hydroelectricity? So Norway has developed this technology for the first in the world. So what is hydropower? Hydro is actually means water. So the power that we generate from the water. Please remember this. Now let's see here. Rainwater or river water stored in dams is made to fall from heights. The falling water flows through pipes inside the dam over turbine blades. If you can see this image. Okay, let's read it with the image. I'll explain you. Okay, see here. So it is said that rainwater or river water is stored in the dams here. So this entire water is stored in these dams here, and it is made to fall from a great height. So from this region, it is falling from a great height to here. Okay. So this falling water flows through pipes inside the dam. So this is what it's falling from, through pipes inside the dams, and then over turbine blades placed over the bottom of the dam. So this is the turbine. This is the turbine we have. See here. This is the turbine. That means this entire stored water comes out in a very high speed, and here is the turbine. The turbine has got the blades. So because of the force of the speed of the water, the turbine moves. Okay, and this movement of this water here generates electricity. Okay, see the moving blades and then turn the generator to produce electricity, and this is called as hydroelectricity. It is not something, it is very easy. Just the stored water falling from a great height, falling to this motor, this turbine which has blades just like the fan, and here it generates electricity. I don't know how many of you have watched the movie Swadesh by Shah Rukh Khan. In that movie also, Shah Rukh Khan has actually done this entire project. If you have not watched, please you can go and take some few time from your very hectic day. I know how hectic it is, but still I would like you to watch that movie so that you can just go through it and help you to know it better. Okay, so this is called as hydroelectricity. So here electricity is generated, and from here it is getting transferred to here, this place, and from here through this help of these wires and transmitters, it is getting transmitted to this electric poles. You must have seen near your neighborhood, near your area, all these poles are the electric poles. These are the transmitters. These are the electric poles where the electricity is getting supplied and transmitted to the entire region. I hope you have understood this. Okay, so the water discharged after the generation of electricity is used for irrigation. Right, so what happens here later on, this water which is being stored, once the water is being done over utilized, and then it is being let go, and this let go water, used water, is being used for irrigation in agriculture purpose. Okay, so 1/4 of the world's electricity is produced by hydel power. Please underline that 1/4 of the world's electricity is made by this type, hydropower. The leading producers of hydropower in the world are Paraguay, Norway, Brazil and China. Please underline all of these names also, they are very important. Some important hydropower stations in India. So in India also we have got hydropower station, that is the Bakra Nangal. Bakra Nangal is in Punjab. It is one of the most important power station, hydropower stations we have in India, biggest one. Next is Gandhi Sagar, which is again in Gujarat itself, Nagarjuna Sagar and Damodar Valley projects. So all of these projects are very important. Please understand and remember their names. Now let's see, do you know the site of the world's first solar and wind powered bus shelter is in Scotland. So Scotland has it. Okay, so here we end with our conventional sources of energy. In the next class we'll go with the non-conventional sources of energy. I hope you have understood till here. Please draw that flow chart. Okay, let's move to your exercise questions. Already question number 1, first, second and is done. Third is also done. Okay, no question number 1 for today. You can move to question number 3. Question number 3, first one and third one. Question number 3, first one and third one, and distinguish between first one, conventional and non-conventional sources of energy. Okay, please write it in your notebook and complete it. Till then, thank you class.